7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making an end grain cutting board for my mom for Mother's Day. I start with this 5/4 cherry and cut it down at the table saw, then move to the joiner to smooth one edge. The board then gets cut into 5 2-inch strips and 1 1-inch strip. I then head back to the joiner to face join each piece, before heading to the planer to bring the pieces down to final thickness, which is 1 inch. At the bench, I glue and clamp the strips up. While that dries, I start on the inlay. I joint this piece of maple before heading to the planer to get the faces parallel. At the table saw, I cut the panel down into 1-inch strips. Back at the bench, I take the first panel out of the clamps and glue and clamp the second one up. Here I'm using my card scraper to smooth out one of the faces before heading to the planer to smooth out the other side. I then head to the table saw to cut the panel into strips a little over 1¼ inches wide. And that's because the final cutting board will be 1¼ inches thick. I flip every other strip over and then add glue and clamp them together. I then go back to working on the inlay piece. I square it up at the table saw, and then I'm using my jack plane here to flatten one of the faces. I set up my X-carve to cut out the reverse positive side of the inlay, and this will be the letters backwards so that it can flip over and go down into the cutting board. took the cutting board out of the clamps and then took it over to the table saw to square it up. And then took this over to the X-Carve and used that to flatten one of the faces. Here the X-Carve is carving in the negative side of the inlay. Once that was done, I flipped the board over, re-secured it, and then flattened out the other side. So I don't know if you could see that, but the X-Carve stopped at about 98% through. The belt on the X-axis broke in half. Looks frayed. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm gonna have to finish cleaning this up with the block plane. So I'm gonna get to that. After cleaning that up, I used the bandsaw and the scroll saw to cut out the letters for the inlay. I had to use my 1/8" chisel to clean up some of the corners before moving on to gluing in the letters. Once that dried, I used my flush cut saw to remove the excess. I put down that painter's tape to help prevent cutting up the surface. Then on to everybody's favorite, sanding. Right here, I'm spraying the cutting board with water. It helps the grain stand up so that when I go into the final sanding, it will get rid of all of the loose fibers. I use mineral oil for my cutting boards and pour it and wipe it on until it doesn't absorb anymore. Then I'll let it sit to dry. Off camera, I added my brand to the back before coming back to the bench and screwing on the feet. To finish the board off, I add a mix of beeswax and mineral oil. Once it sits for about 15 minutes, I come back with a clean rag to buff it out. Alright everybody, so here's the finished cutting board. I'm going to be dropping this in the mail later today to send off to my mom for Mother's Day. I hope she'll like it. I'm really happy with how it came out. It was my first project where I used my X-Scarf to do the inlay for the lettering. And I'm really happy with how that came out. I was a bit worried because like the A and the E had the small little inset pieces that weren't supported after they were cut out, and I was worried that putting in the inlay I might break them or get them caught in some way, but it came out fine. Yeah, I'm just really happy with it. So that's all for this one. I will see you next time.